Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com.
That is what you call a palate cleanser. The Edmonton Oilers blow one out. Huge offensive performance, good defensive performance. Goaltending was good. Oh, that is a palate cleanser. Big win over the Utah Hockey Club. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Anniversary edition. Oh, yeah, 3 years to the day that Got Your Back launched. And we are still rocking and rolling. Love the fact that you're joining us tonight if you're on the live stream on YouTube or on X or on Twitch. Thanks so much for joining us. And as always, our show is brought to you by Play Alberta. Why choose Play Alberta? Well, just ask any hockey fan who loves odds boosts, player props, insane game parlays, or slots players who love the massive jackpots, or lottery players who can grab last-minute tickets on the go. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with the code GYB03. Visit playalberta.ca. I am in the mobile Adrenaline Diesel studio, safely pulled over for the start of the show. Adrenaline Diesel is a Caterpillar recognized and authorized dealer and repair facility. For expert service for your cat engine, visit adrenalinediesel.ca. As we say hello to Zuby and Struddy, the three of us originals on the 3-year anniversary of the show. Zuby, we had a harebrained idea. We hoped Jason Strudwick would help us legitimize it. And worked out pretty good, Zuby, I have to say.
And he did. He certainly did. And it did work out well. And tonight, as a part of the throwback, we're having your audio sound poor. That's part of the...
Sorry.
And that's part of the show. We've got some very funny comments already on the stream. Sung J. Chung says, Shogger calling from Alcatraz. Leaky37 says, Shogger, get out of the garbage can. JL says, Shogger using the Home Alone talk boy. Bobo Fett says, Shogger either underwater or using a tin can for his audio. And goes on. Zed says, sounds like AM radio, Shogger.
Oh, man. I apologize. I didn't bring the... I normally have this giant headset that I wear on the drive home, but I'm in a different vehicle tonight, and I forgot it. So sorry about that. Struddy, happy podcast birthday, buddy.
Yeah, first of all, you're right. That is a giant headset because of the size of your head. It's an absolute monster. So you could fit that on an elephant.
Come on.
I honestly, guys, this is going to sound weird. I thought it'd been longer than 3 years. Because you guys were talking before, and I'm kind of doing my own thing, and I hear you saying 3 years. I'm like, I thought it's like 4 or 5 years. If I'm being completely honest. So talk about time flying or not flying. Like I honestly thought it was more than 3 years. I truly felt that way.
I thought it does feel like it. Well, we're in season 4, so I guess there's part of me in my brain that it feels like 4 years, but yeah, it's 3 years to the day of episode 1. And we're going to share some later on here. We're going to share some memories. Yeah. And the look is quite different, but I don't think the vibe's still pretty good of the clips that I reviewed today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still pretty similar.
It has evolved a lot. The content, pretty similar, but the ideas have evolved. And you know what, Zuby, since my audio is so terrible, and it'll get better, I'll be home here in 10 or 15 minutes. But why don't we, before we get to breaking the game down, kill some of this drive, why don't we show a throwback clip from season 1? What is it? Is it episode 1 that you have, Zuby? What do you got on the throwback?
This is clip? It's, this part's capsule. Not in the clip, so I'm going to include this. Is that the very first audio of the very first show was Jay Woodcroft praising the boys for a mature win. And I thought that was funny because we're to this day, 3 years later, how many times have we talked about a mature win as they apparently beat Buffalo 6-1. But this is the first clip. This is after you've done the intro. This is the first time in the YouTube video that we're going to see. It comes on screen to you and Struddy. We're even getting a little glimpse of the original theme music here. I think you guys will be able to talk and chat over this if you want to. It's only about 45 seconds. So here we go. The very first few seconds of Got Your Back ever.
There he is, Jason Strudwick. Good morning, my friend. I know it's an early one. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm an early riser, buddy. Let's get after it, right? Early bird gets the worm.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's figuring out how to make use of these early morning hours, right? That's the key to life. If you can take advantage of the early morning hours, then you've got it beat. Now, what would you normally be doing at this time? I feel like you'd be like throwing some weights around or something, or what would you normally be up to?
Yeah, actually, I already got up and worked out. I couldn't sleep last night. I was so excited, so I got up this morning early, worked out, made the kids lunches, and so I'm ready to rumble, buddy. I'm all yours.
Yeah, me too, buddy. This has been a journey getting it to this point. I know we've probably been super annoying to everybody, killing them with Twitter feeds and promos and stuff. But it's been a couple of weeks in the making, and I'm super excited that we're off and running here on Got Your Back. So, gotta say, man, I'm super, super happy that you decided to sign on and do this. And I don't know. I think it'll be fun, buddy.
No, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. And, we got a hot team to talk about, so it makes it even that much more enjoyable.
Man, listen to how nice we used to be to each other. Just treating each other with respect and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Like, you think you're bringing so much energy, and there we look like we've been half drunk, or I don't know what the right word is. We might have been more entertaining drunk, probably. But yeah, no, it's good. It's cool. I just honestly, I can't believe it's only been 3 years. Like, 'cause it is our fourth season of hockey. So maybe that adds it up. I'm sure.
Yeah. And nuts that we used to wake up early mornings, right? Like we were not live in our first couple of seasons till Zuby and I figured out the technology to get us up live, and then we ended up going more of a post-game model. And now we're basically never doing mornings anymore. But it's been a ton of fun. I think we got one or two more look-back clips. We'll get to those a little bit later on in the show. Enough navel-gazing, Struds. Let's get to a big confidence-building win for the Edmonton Oilers in our breakdown, Struddy, presented by our good friends over at the Alberta Ram Dealers.
The 2025 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. Visit your Alberta Ram dealer to get into this award-winning truck at a competitive price. Capable, stylish, powerful Ram.
All right, buddy, a lot of things go right for this team tonight, but I feel like a lot of it started with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who for a second game in a row has a big offensive night, shows up with the right stuff. Is that the right place to start our discussion tonight? My gut tells me that it is.
I think it does. I think it is. And the reason I believe it does is because this is carrying on from what we saw the previous game in New York, right? Like, we're starting to see him, and I use this word, moving his feet. I really think he's skating well. He's on it. And that is very clear in the shorthanded goal. Gets to the point, chips past a D-man who's kind of fallen down, and then he's gone. And he wins the foot race, gets not the best angle on the goalie, but because you got to give the guy some credit, the D-man or the player chased him down, and then he puts one backhand over top of Vejmelka. So really moving his feet, and shorthanded goal, that is disheartening to start a game.
What did you think of the goal on Vejmelka? I was thinking to myself as I'm watching that, like, if Skinner lets that in, I feel like people are all over him. What did you think of that?
Awful. It was an awful goal, and I say that knowing that's not kind to Nugent-Hopkins, right? But to go short side backhand when you're kind of being forced that way by the pressure from behind you. I thought it was a terrible goal. I really did. I didn't think Vejmelka had, I don't know if Tournier, what he thought, but he pulled him after the first period. He did not have a good night.
He obviously didn't love it. Yeah.
No. And it just puts you on your heels. Because, it just, as a D-man, if I put a player in that position, he's on his backhand, you've got to save that puck. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I like the fact that Nugent-Hopkins, didn't even think about curling. He didn't even think about holding up. He didn't take it all the way to the net hard, but he took it to the net and he made a nice shot. But I like the fact that he just kept his legs moving, Struds, and took the ice that was there for him to take.
Well, I've been talking about this you've been bringing him up for a little bit here, and to get inside the dots and get to the net, and then let his skill take over. When you get inside the dots, you put pressure on people, and make them make choices. So, off of that play, what are the odds you're really scoring? Probably not super high, but at least make the goalie make a save, right? So get a shot on net, put him under pressure, and then in this case, he puts a shot on net and then goes in. So I like that. I like that he gets to the inside. First off, he's moving his feet. Then he gets to the inside of the ice. Then he takes a shot, then makes the goalie make a save instead of just wiring it around in a classic breakout that you see from sometimes. So those are three things I think that he's kind of maybe understanding he can do, or not understanding, but he's doing it again, especially from the middle of the ice as a centerman.
What do you think of the power play assist?
When I saw that, I thought, how often have we seen a play like that from that side of the ice? Like, did you remember that play happening? Nuge to Hyman, and Hyman's breaking it on that side. Usually Hyman's building a wall on the other side of the net because someone's hammered it into that corner. So I don't remember him any Nuge to Hyman tips like that. Am I wrong? Or there are a few maybe?
Yeah, no, I think you're right with the idea that it has not been common. I really like that handle from him and a great confident pass. Like, is it 6 points in the last couple of games here?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a significant boost for Nugent-Hopkins. We have been talking about his production quite a bit. I think he'd had 1 goal in 18 coming in, I believe. Mm-hmm. 1 goal in 18 coming in to this game tonight. And so he puts together back-to-back 3-point games. I think we've got sound on his. We have sound on him, correct?
From Nuge?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson sound box, Struddy.
If it's time for a new furnace, garage heater, or hot water tank, or you're looking to beat the rush on getting a new air conditioner for this summer, act now, as the team over at Weiss Johnson are already seeing an increase in requests for air conditioning. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical systems or installing new ones, Weiss Johnson's here for all your home comfort needs. Visit weissjohnson.com today. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
All right, here's Nuge post game.
We're playing fast. We know that they're pretty aggressive on the walls coming with their D coming down, but I think just good plays, and we had the fast mindset.
2 straight 3-point games for you. How are you feeling out there? What's going right for you out there?
I mean, I'm just trying to play the same. Games can be funny sometimes. You do all the right things and nothing shows up on the score sheet, and then sometimes you just have you get some bounces and they go in for you. So just trying to play the same way and I don't know, try to help out however I can.
What do you think of that answer, Struds? Just basically doing the same thing I've always been doing the whole way along and just got some bounces. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I understand. He's trying to downplay it. I think that there's a different strategy to his game right now. But I do want to touch on the fact that, because there seemed to be a little bit made about how the D from Utah pinched down the wall hard. And I think they do. But there's pinching down when it makes sense, and then pinching down when there's less than 50-50 chance. And there was many times where they were pinching when there was no sense in pinching. Like, that's a beer league 11:42 p.m. pinch that we saw from almost all of them, all of the D-men on Utah tonight. Like, really, really bad choices. So the Oilers did play fast. I think they got to pucks faster than maybe they expected. Got to buy them. But there was no you could have, those breakaways, you could have taken quite a few away with more intelligent pinches or no pinches at all.
Yeah, I think that's a great point by you. The Oilers with all kinds of offensive looks. Okay, let's move on from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So Zach Hyman and Matthias Ekholm both draw back into the lineup. Ekholm has missed some significant time, and Hyman has missed a number of games here, Struds, and both have impressive nights. Both are all over the score sheet. Take on either one of those that you want to talk about.
Well, I think the biggest one was Ekholm. Going into his break / injury 6-game hiatus, I thought he was laboring. You know, everything looked hard. And with Ekholm, it doesn't usually look hard. And what I mean by that is he's usually in the right place before they even know that, you know, he's there. He makes the right play, and his game is not hard. It's not one, doesn't look hard to play. Well, it was looking hard for him to play. So whatever was going on, whether it was the sickness that had been there, and he talked about that, the voice, or whatever lingering injury he had, that time off, he looked different, like a different guy today. He was buzzing out there. And case in point, his goal. He was in the right place before anyone else knew he was going to be there or needed to be there. No, I think that shot goes off a stick and then into the net. Not to downplay what he did, but just to give some context there. But his game looked really hard, and tonight it looked easy because he was moving so much freer and in the right places quicker.
That's a big swing for them to have Ekholm feeling better and getting back near the higher end of his game, Struts. I think there have been a few times where Ekholm has either been hurt and out or banged up and diminished. And it's amazing how much it affects this blue line when his game isn't at a high level.
Well, I mean, he's one of your top, if not your best all-around D-men. He's one of your top 2 D-men. And that makes a difference. So tonight, you know, you look at it, they're spreading ice time around amongst 5 guys. And then obviously you've got Stetcher, who was in there as well. But it was a pretty good night by everyone. And obviously with the score, everyone could play. But, you know, having 5 guys that can all really play top 4 minutes, that's huge. And it means just talks about how deep this blue line is rolling at right now.
Yeah, well, wait till Brownie joins us, but I want to have a bigger discussion about what we thought of the look and feel of this blue line with Walman in, Ekholm back, and how we think the whole thing seemed to function. But we'll push that into the next segment because I want Rob Brown to be part of that discussion as well. Zach Hyman's production has been down this year, Struds, misses some time, and gets back in the lineup and finds it right away. That could be big for the Oilers too. If Hyman gets back on the right side of the bounces, he always works hard, but if he gets back on the right side of this thing offensively.
Yeah, and just bigger like let's just look who scored tonight, right? So throw McDavid, that was a great goal, but we'll just put him to the side. Nuge, Podkolzin, Arvidsson, Hyman, Ekholm. So throw Ekholm's out, but that's 4 forwards that we've been talking about secondary scoring. We need these guys. Like that's what the team's been screaming. We need these guys to get in there and do it, and they did it tonight. So yeah, Zach Hyman scored whatever it was, 54 goals last year in the regular season. He probably won't get there this year, but he needs to be trending the right direction, and he needs to be a guy that can counted on to score goals regularly. And then I thought tonight he also looked just fine. He got back, and it wasn't like he was playing poorly before, but he gets back in there, and he looked pretty free and easy as well. And you start scoring a bit, and Alvarez starts unlocking, and you get Arvidsson now. He's got 3 goals in 6 games. He's starting to play a little bit more free and easy. Like all of a sudden, everyone starts feeling the confidence is better, and now there's more depth of scoring. So I can't put so much of an emphasis on how important it is that these guys, not McDavid and Draisaitl, are scoring. And it is ironic, we should mention, Draisaitl didn't get a point tonight in a 7-1 game where it seemed like everyone got their beat whacked except for him.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Struds, I want to get the hell off this terrible microphone because I hate annoying people with that, and it's my bad. I'm just about home, so why don't you grab Relentless Player and grab a YouTube poll as well, and then hopefully I'll be back at the mic and ready to rock and roll for takeaways.
All right, buddy. Get in there. Let's get right to it then. Relentless Player brought to you by You Can Youth Services. Their annual Comedy Nights fundraiser has just one table left for March 19th, and that's the night we're all going to be there. Your buddies from the pod will all be there. The same night that we'll see you there. Grab that last table and come say hi. Can't make it? There's a 50-50 draw and raffle and also a silent auction. Check it all out at www.youcancomedy.com. Zoobs, it's just you and me finally, buddy.
Yep.
As my good friend Tiffany used to say, I think we're alone now. So the relentless player, buddy, I'm going Darnell Nurse. He had a ton of hits tonight. I want to say it was 6 or 7. I have to double check that. 7. Sorry, my bad. 7. And I thought he really came out with the intention of setting a tone and, to quote, put in air quotes, to be a prick out there. And he actually got into a fight with McBain, a good fight. Big guy. McBain's big guy. But I really like, he was mean. He set the tone. And I mean, we've talked about this, but when he is doing this, I think it just elevates that presence of that physical play and so many others.
Yeah, for sure. And now I'd want to ask you, what did you think of him taking that fight at that point in time, up 2-0? It turned out to not be a problem, but was that a question mark for you at the time?
I think he was feeling it, and I'd rather him be feeling it and taking fights rather than unsure of what he wants to do. He decided he was going to fight. McBain didn't start it. Darnell threw his stick into like the 7th row. He's like, we're doing this, right? And so he was the instigator, and I'm fine with that. He's choosing it. It's on his terms. He wants to do it. And there's a big difference, because I've been in fights before where you're like, ooh, I don't really, we're winning 2-0, and this guy ran my guy. I got to make a choice, or do I fight him or not? This was completely his choice. And if he wants to take that fight that time, go for it. I have no problem with him taking it, because you want Darnell to be assertive and feel like he's the biggest, baddest man on the ice at all times. Because like I said, that elevates everyone. Then we're getting, Frederick's going to be back at some time. You got Kane in there sometime coming back. Now you got a lot of kind of machismo dropping off of this team. But I believe it all starts with 25. He's the guy. He is the man, buddy.
And just him being proactive rather than reactive. You'd rather see it that way with any of the physicality.
100%. You want him to have it. You want him to have that time in there. So I think that's a really good sign. So we'll get into more of that a little bit later, but let's get into our YouTube poll, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. The snow is melting again, and golf season will soon be here. 2025 equipment is now fully loaded in the fitting carts. DeBoer's is booking fittings 10 days in advance. So call now to get your spot. Get fit to play your best by the team dedicated to helping you play better golf. Visit them at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. So Zuby, good poll here. I love this one. Kind of a back-to-backer, if you will.
Yeah, something of a throwback on throwback night. Throwing back just to last episode, not our very first episode. Also, I should say, you think we're alone now, but we do have 500 of our closest friends on the stream here with us.
Right.
On YouTube, and probably even more over on the Twitter machine. Here's the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll for tonight. Who needed this one the most? Not the last one. Who needed this one the most? And the options we got here are Zach Hyman, Vasily Podkolzin, Nuge again. Nuge trying to take it again. And the fourth choice is Matthias Ekholm returning from injury. So those are your 4 choices tonight. Who do you think needed this one, Struddy?
I'm going Nuge, because then it proves it wasn't just a fluke, right? And I think that they need this guy feeling the offense. I think back to the last couple of years, he's feeling it, just like Zach Hyman. A guy who I think was important for him to score again was Connor McDavid. And I said it last game about his goal in New York. I'll say it about this nice little breakout play they had tonight. He needs to feel it too. And it's hard to say that about the most talented offensive weapon perhaps we have seen in 100 years in the NHL.
Yeah.
So I think it was massively important, buddy. What do you think?
Something about Ekholm coming back in, looking fresh, and contributing on offense as well. That's kind of where I was leaning tonight.
I like it. All right, let's do this. Let's pop out here. When we come back, we'll have Schauger. We'll have Brownie, Zoobs, and myself.
Brownie too. Brownie's going to be here too.
We got the whole herd. Everybody will be here. So let's pop out when we come back. We'll get into takeaways with all your buddies here next on Got Your Back.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
Oh. This microphone is more like it. Welcome back to the show, folks. Time for takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. This week, you can find Martin Motorsports at the Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show, your one-stop shop for all your on-water adventures. Great deals on Supra and Moomba wake boats, Harrison pontoons, Crestliner fishing boats, and, of course, the Sea-Doo and Sea-Doo Switch. Stop by the Edmonton Expo Center to say hi to the team at Martin Motorsports from March 20th to the 23rd. Nothing but fun over at Martin Motorsports. Be a great event coming up this weekend. All right, the whole crew is here ready to rock and roll. Rob Brown joins us over the phone. We got Struds and we got Zuby. Brownie, this won't mean a lot to you because you weren't born yet onto the Got Your Back team, but this is the 3-year anniversary of the pod starting, buddy.
Really? You guys did it before I got on the show? I didn't realize that.
That's where you get all your content.
He's never even listened to an episode, Struds. Rob doesn't even know how to find our podcast on his phone. You know that, right?
It's a good point. Good point.
That is true. That is true. I don't know. Like, I'm not on Twitter. I don't know what Twitch means. And what's that other one? We're on something else. YouTube. I don't know how to do YouTube. So no, I just like it live. I just want to be there with you guys to be part of the show.
Yeah.
You can find it in AOL chat rooms, buddy. That's where you can find it.
Yeah. All right. So Brownie, Struds and I dug into Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in the first segment. Talked to excuse me, a little bit about Zach Hyman as well. I think it's a good time to get to Connor McDavid and the goal that we saw him score tonight. We saw some nice goals scored by the Oilers tonight, but that McDavid one on the line with Skinner, it was Bouchard that made the great play there, Brownie. Just, I don't know, man. Every once in a while, the guy just pulls you out of your seat and you go, holy snap, and it was just one of those goals.
Well, it's funny. You sit in the press box as I did. You could see that was going to happen about 7 seconds before it happened. They iced the puck. I mean, Utah at this point is just trying to get out of the period, surviving just down 2. And it was an absolutely horrendous defensive display by Utah on that play. And the Oilers read it. And McDavid kind of looked at Ekholm, and he picked it up, and that's a set play that they know exactly what they're doing. They wait for the right time to do it. And the poor defenseman that's back there, it's like you just gave McDavid a full runway. Skate as fast as you can, Connor, and we're going to just leave a puck in an area for you. I mean, it was a breakaway. When Connor McDavid was skating back into his own end, it was just a matter of seconds before you knew he was going to get a breakaway because Utah played it so poorly and the Oilers executed it so perfectly. But yeah, you got to see Connor McDavid at his best. And McDavid has not been as effective on breakaways this year as we've seen in the past, but you just had a feeling this one is going in. This is just one of those special nights. McDavid had jumped from the beginning of the game, and that was just like an exclamation mark, like, yeah, hey, boys, I am back. You were seeing the real Connor McDavid again. Wonderful goal. He didn't get the shot that he wanted because he was slashed, but then he readjusted and just pushed the puck past the goaltender's legs. Nice goal, pretty goal, and that was the end of the hockey game for the Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah, it was good, really good play. And you've kind of seen them done it. So that's an extension of their controlled breakout where they sent a D-man up the middle. Well, this time Bouchard just went kind of right to center. And maybe they have that when it gets down to the last minute to make a play. So it's a great little play. And I mean, Utah's D-men they did a great job taking away the wall and leaving the middle of the ice open.
Yeah.
So,
I like the play by Bouchard too. It might have seemed simple, but I thought it was a perfect little touch, and I don't think that everybody has the wherewithal to touch that into exactly the right spot because he did have to redirect it a little bit. So I like that play from Evan Bouchard and a great finish from Connor McDavid. Boy, who knew Vasily Podkolzin? I mean, how that guy hasn't been shooting the puck nonstop all season long, every chance he gets, Struds. Like, what a laser beam that was.
Yeah. It was a really good shot. He had quite a bit of space there. Give Nugent-Hopkins a ton of credit on that one because not only does he set him up with the pass, he also kind of drives to give Podkolzin a little bit of space there to shoot it. So he kind of did double duty on that one. And, yeah, Podkolzin just rips it. I don't think that the netminder would love that one. Brownie, you can maybe speak to that. But at the end of the day, you know what? He's another guy. He finds the back of the net, feels good about himself. And that line's been pretty productive, right? When you look at Nuge at the middle with Albertson, Podkolzin, it wasn't too long ago. That was Leon Draisaitl's line mates. Brownie?
Yeah, I think the best adjustment the Oilers have made in the last, week was putting RNH into a position where he got to touch the puck more. He got to be the playmaker. He wasn't touching the puck on the McDavid line. It all goes through Connor. So let's get him going in another way. And he has made Podkolzin and Arvidsson look better. They're creating opportunities. And when Podkolzin and Arvidsson have the puck now, they're thinking shot first because they don't think, okay, I got to get the puck to Leon or I got to get the puck to Connor. They're thinking, I'm shooting. RNH gave me the puck. I'm going to shoot. You're right. That the Utah Hockey Club goaltender said, okay, we are not letting Leon get his 50th. Everyone else can score on us tonight, but we're not letting Leon score because Leon had 6 grade A scoring chances, and the others scored 7 goals, and 3 of them might not have been grade A's. But Podkolzin, I do believe that Podkolzin and Arvidsson right now are thinking shoot. Arvidsson did it last game where he shot that puck against the Rangers. If he was playing with Connor and Leon, I don't know if he shoots there. But because you don't have to pass the puck to them, you can simply think shoot first. I think that's why this line has been successful and good on RNH making these plays, giving these guys to be more successful.
Let's go back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Head coach Chris Knobloch on number 93 at center.
With a matchup, who we're playing another team or we're on the road, stuff like that, he can certainly move back to left wing. We know that can be useful for us. But right now, it looks great, and we're going to ride it for a while.
Okay, looks great, and we're going to ride it for a while. So some commitment there from Chris Knobloch on a line position, which you don't often get that from any head coach, let alone him. So it'll be the 3-headed monster for the time being here, or at least Nugent-Hopkins at center. And I know a lot of fans will be really happy about that. You get Henrique down the middle as well in this game. The problem, though, gents, is what's left. And Struds, you've talked about this a ton. Brownie, you too. Take a look at Leon Draisaitl's line tonight, because Nugent-Hopkins has an energetic, rejuvenated Arvidsson and a Podkolzin firing darts. Look at what Leon was left with tonight, Struds.
Yeah, I honestly, so the negative for me with that line was having it's not working long term. Like I could see Nugent's line together, I could see Connor's line together, but that line is not working. And the adjustment I would make is throw Henrique up in the space there beside Leon and slide Perry over to the side. Now it's not the fastest line, but at least Henrique can make he can make more plays than you see from Brown. Brownie, what do you think of that, buddy?
Well, it's funny. 3 of the lines were fantastic tonight in the game for the Oilers. I mean, the 4th line Kapanen and Janmark, some of the plays they made that they didn't capitalize on. But the one line that was not effective tonight was the line with their best player on it, Leon Draisaitl. And I'm not putting words into his mouth or anything, but he looked frustrated at times 5-on-5.
Agreed.
There were a number of times he was wide open. He was wide open, and the puck wasn't coming to him. And a lot of it was on the stick of Connor Brown. So that is, if you're going into the playoffs, that is not the second line you want. Now, again, we go back to Trent Frederick is going to come back at some point. And we've talked about it. He starts first game, first shift. He plays with Leon Draisaitl. But yeah, that's you're guy with 49 goals, who's second in the league in scoring. That is not the line mates that you want him with. But the problem is, who goes there? Is it next game? Is it Kapanen and Henrique? Is it you bring out of the press box? Does the new guy come out of the press box and play with him? Again, and I know that did Jeff Skinner, like, here's a question you guys, did Jeff Skinner move the dial playing with Connor tonight? I know they scored, their line did, but he really wasn't part of that. I didn't really notice Jeff Skinner tonight in this game as much as I did in the other games. That sometimes you get lost playing with Connor McDavid because Connor McDavid controls the play 90% of the time he's on the ice.
I'll chime in on that, Brownie. I'll disagree with you a little bit. I thought Skinner had some good looks early in that game, and I thought he actually did as good a job as I've seen him do of playing with Connor McDavid. There were a few awkward moments where, some passes that didn't quite mesh. You had the one where McDavid was blazing 1,000 miles an hour down the ice, and the headman pass, and Skinner instead, threw a delay to the third guy instead of hitting McDavid on the, there were a couple little things. But Struds in particular, there was a back check where he breaks up a play and then feeds Zach Hyman for a partial breakaway. I thought that was a good sequence. I didn't think he made a lot of tough mistakes tonight. I would say for a team desperate to find players to play in the top six, he looked like a guy that belonged there, at least for tonight. Struds, what did you think? Break the tie here.
I did like his game, and it wasn't incredible, and I thought it was solid. I think that, we've been challenging players to do stuff on that line and make something happen. And, that line created a lot of points. Now, he didn't have one, but he was out there making things happen and maybe touching it earlier in the play or driving it, whatever the case may be. So I thought he was around it, even though he wasn't getting points. So I'd like to see that again. And then I'd like to see it again. But the problem is you come back to that second line, and that is not a recipe for success. So I would move Henrique up right away. I wouldn't even hesitate. I might have done it during the game today, but things are going well, so you don't want to disrupt it. But you know
what they did?
Yeah.
You know what they did, Strutt, during the game tonight is they switched Hyman and Brown in the third period. They gave Leon Hyman in the third period because I think they felt sorry for Leon. So there was a change.
Points.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to get him points, but he looked frustrated. What I would do, and I agree with you, Strutt, I go with Henrique, put him back, put him with Leon, give him someone to play with, and I bring Derek Ryan in the lineup and put him as my fourth line center. So that's what I would do next game.
Yeah. So then you got, who comes out then? Is it
Kapanen just had the best game he's had in a while here. I know he was -1, but he was all over it tonight. You pull him.
The coach talked about him. So then who is it? Yeah.
I don't know. The problem is with if you move Henrique up, the combined face-off percentage of Kapanen and Janmark's about 38%.
Yeah.
That's where you run into problems when you move Henrique out of the 4-hole. Is now you don't have a fourth line center.
Well, you got to remember the third line for Winnipeg, right? That's the best third line in the league, the best. So you can't just be throwing. That's a difficult matchup for anybody. So Nuge is going to be taking on Nuge with Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Your fourth line is not taking that on.
The team is rounding into form here. 3 goals, 3 games where they're giving up next to nothing here. The offense is starting to feel it. And I want to give kudos to Calvin Pickard here a little bit, because while I mean, I think the Oilers played a decent game defensively. Was it just me, Struds, or did Calvin Pickard not have a lot of crap to clean up? There were some good chances, and he had to make some tough saves tonight. So I really liked Calvin Pickard's performance here too. So it seems to me like, all facets of their game, the penalty kill I thought was good early. Like they're starting to sense the playoffs coming around here, and everything is kind of toning up a little bit here, Struds. They're trimming the fat of some bad habits.
It is. And Brown, I'm going to make a statement. You tell me what you think. I think that the chances Utah had looked a lot better than they actually were because there was a fumble or a pass was slightly off. And yes, Pickard made the saves, but if it was a cleaner game by then, they're either goals or way better chances against.
Yeah, and I also throw in the fact that in the third period, Utah had some really good looks where the give a heck meter for the Oilers was gone. The game was over. Yeah. And so I throw a lot of those out. But to me, and this is to go with Schauger and liking Calvin Pickard, there were 3 plays in the first period that dictated this big win for the Oilers. There was the shorthanded goal by RNH when Utah has a chance to go up 1-0 on a power play. There was the one that you just talked about at the end of the period, the set play to Connor McDavid. But there was a save by Calvin Pickard. It was a 3-on-3, and the Oilers lost coverage, turned into a 2-on-1. Bouchard laid down. There was a backdoor wide-open net. I think it was Schmaltz was the guy that was throwing the puck across. Pickard read the play, and it wasn't even a shot on net. It was a pass across, but he kicked his toe forward, blocking an easy empty net goal. That, to me, was a huge play in the first period. That would have given the Utah Hockey Club a lot of energy and belief if they put that in the net. But Pickard made that save. So Pickard was really good late in the game when the game didn't matter. But that save he made in the first period, to me, was huge and one of the big reasons that the Oilers were able to roll through the rest of the game.
Okay. You guys have heard me on this show all year long talk about the physical play of this team or the lack thereof. Good moment today when the press conference ended. Chris Knobloch waved me over, and he had a couple of stats that he wanted to pass along to me, which I tweeted earlier on today. The statistics were this, guys. So it was, sorry, just let me grab them here, make sure I got them right. Last 12 games that the Oilers have lost, they've out-hit the other team in 11 of those games. So, and then now it would be 37 wins on the season. They've been out-hit in 33 of those 37 wins. So Knobloch, I mean, he's hearing, criticism from a number of different spots on this hit thing, and we've beat it to death on this show over and over all year. I love the fact that he hauled me over today, stuffed a couple of stats down my throat. More than happy to put them out there for people to discuss today. I'm not even going to go so far. I almost want to just let Chris have the last word today because I always get it on the show. So he kind of rammed those stats down my throat. I put them out there. I'm not even going to argue the case at all, but I will serve it up to you guys because I know you would love the look of somebody getting one over on me. So I'll let you guys go ahead and comment on it. But I'm giving Chris the word today.
Brownie.
Well, I've got no issue with the physicality of the Oilers. I've said it from day one when Schauger talked about it. This team is not built on physicality. This team is built on speed and skill. I have no worries that when it gets a tough series, that the Oilers are able to respond. I don't look at the Oilers to be a team that goes out and hits. That's not their style of play. Chris Knobloch knows his team, knows what they're successful at, and knows how they need to play, and so do the players. So these stats they are what they are. The Oilers are not a physical team, but they know how to win hockey games.
Yeah, I'll stick to my thing all year that they had the governor on their hit totals to save their bodies a bit. But I think it's more about an attitude. And like tonight, the attitude is they were going to get to pucks first and or get there in a bad mood if they're second. And that is the attitude I think this team showed all year last year. When they were in that playoff race, they weren't pounding teams, but they were getting to pucks first and winning those puck battles. And that to me is more important than a big hit.
Consistently. All right. Love it. Yeah, and hey, all good. Very relevant stats there from Chris Knobloch today. So I'll stay quiet for tonight. The conversation will continue as we hurtle towards the playoffs. That was Takeaways, brought to you by Martin Motorsports. You guys see that? Do you see that as a sign of maturity? I'm willing to not have to have the last word on an argument that's been that big all year long. I'm willing to just move right along, Struds. I think that's a sign of growth, if I do say so.
Who have you been arguing with? Yourself. I don't think it's been a big debate, Brownie. I don't feel like we're arguing with him a lot. I mean, but maybe I don't know.
Well, I like the fact he's taking the high road. Well, the stats prove he's wrong. How is he going to respond to it?
Yeah.
I'm not taking the bait. I'm not defending myself. I am not defending myself. Not tonight. It'll be on our first segment next podcast. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, so we'll have brownie points, and we got Struddy's World. We got Ask Us Anything, Take a Lap. Board of Governor meetings were happening today. Zuby, why don't we queue up a little more retro Got Your Back? As we go to break, take a look from year one on the pod, a different look and feel back in season number 1. We'll be right back.
Whatever. What's this one called again?
Got Your Back, pal.
Got Your Back. The logo. So the logo, it took me a while to understand that it's a fist bump. Yeah, because it's kind of like partly when you first look at it, just looks like 4 cylinders and then another cylinder underneath. It looks like some company that does like computer systems or something like that.
It looks like a dumbbell, and we both know, all of us know, Ryan hasn't seen a dumbbell in the last 11 years or so.
Until this morning. Hello, I'll be here all week.
Hey, Got Your Back. By the way, thank you so much to my cousin Carrie, who came up with the logo. She does a fantastic
awkward.
job. No.
Carrie, I've always thought you do great work. I'm just saying, at first glance, I'm not exactly quick, so it took me a second to realize what it was. Then I got it. It was a fist.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. Gotta look good.
Oh boy, listen to this breakdown. By the way, just getting absolutely crushed in the YouTube chat here, gentlemen. You'll love it. Bell Shaw says, going on about not having the last word is having the last word. Dry Spell says, I think saying you don't need the last word is a form of trying to get in the last word. Quaddy says, and then Knobber pulled Schauger's suit jacket over his head and fed him the uppercuts. Hey guys, I'm taking the high road and not having the last word. I'm going good. Hey guys, says the juice. All right, people are not buying what I'm selling tonight. Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timberhouse Developments. If you're tired of those dull cookie-cutter houses, Timberhouse is looking to shake things up. Their designs harness the power of natural light to brighten your days and lift your spirits, because life's too short for ordinary houses and dull living. Let them build you a place where laughter and good times are part of the blueprint. Listen to this remix, Struddy.
Pretty sick. Wow. There's some oboe in there. So, it's blowouts are always a delicate time for the relationship between two teams. You don't want to embarrass the other team. You want to keep them feeling all right about it because we've all been on that, both sides of blowouts. You've been blown out and you've been giving a team a beating. Today, as the Oilers went on, they got a power play later in the game, and Draisaitl was scoreless, and they left him out there for the whole time. And as I was watching this, I'm like, I wonder how either team will respond. How would I feel if that was me? And my answer to myself was like, I would have been fine with it because they started the second unit, they got him to stay out there for the whole time. And if you're anybody who follows the game, you know that he's got a pretty decent streak of games in a row with 10 points. So you leave him out there, I have no problem with it, right? And then you put your other unit on, your first unit on after, and he continues to play. So leaving him on, I have no problem. I might have, because of the score, just put random players on that other unit. Instead of putting McDavid out there, put random guys out there, like your Kapanins or whatever, Paul Coles and random guys. Now, if you want to put your top unit, that's fine. But the idea of people being upset on the other team because they left Leon out for the whole time, I don't buy it. You have to understand where he's at, and they did start their second unit, boys.
What do you think?
Well, I don't have a problem with either. If you don't want the other team to put their power play out late in the game, don't take a penalty. I mean, I don't think it was so much the 18-point streak. I think it was also get him his 50th goal. I mean, just take that's one less thing you have to worry about in the Winnipeg game. Because in all honesty, we got a question on our show tonight on Chad. What do you think of the Oilers' power play tonight? Well, you can't really evaluate their power play because they were just trying to pass to only one player for the entire power play. They were trying to get Leon his 50th. So it was. I have no problem with it either. Like, don't take a penalty. It's a 60-minute game. So yeah, I had no issue. I know that I have heard people complain when other teams do it against the Oilers, and they have earlier in the season. And I'm like, I didn't mind it then. Don't take a dumb penalty. And if you don't take a dumb penalty, then you're not shorthanded. But Leon looked tired at the end because they extended his shift a few times, trying to get a point and trying to get the 50th goal. And he had ample opportunities tonight to do that.
It almost seemed to me at times, Struds, and I agree with you, by the way. I was okay with it overall. It almost seemed to me like he was looking to get 50, but at a certain point he was kind of like, just need to get a point here to keep the streak going. Like he kind of got away from trying to shoot everything, and just there were a few times where he was just making some plays and setting guys up and stuff. So I'm not sure if it was more about the 50. I think it was earlier when McDavid kept feeding him in the slot there. But I think a part of it was about the streak as well. But Struds, if you got a frustrated Draisaitl on the bench and you sense that as the head coach, are you really giving him, Kapanen and on the power play for that second unit?
Yeah, listen, but I understand that. I get that. But I guess my thing is those guys played a good game. Throw them out there. Give them some time on the power play as well. It's 7-1. Now, I guess it depends. We have to determine, or we'd have to figure out what Knobloch was after. Was he just trying to get him a point? Was he trying to get him his 50th? Because I thought with the second unit out there, he looked like he was trying to pass it. So to me, it didn't look like he was trying to get a 50. He was trying to pass and set guys up. And honestly, with that unit, he's more of a passer than he is a shooter. And I think he recognizes that. But I don't know. I'll be honest. I always liked at the end of the game if the game was out of control, the winning coach would put out his slugs, and I was one of them. And I didn't want to go out on the ice, so I didn't want to go out. I'd say I can't. I've hurt my hamstring. I would just let someone else go. But I like that. It's like, hey man, like we recognize you guys work hard too. You should get a chance in the power play because I think everyone loves getting on the power play, guys. So it's not the end of the world. But I wonder if Leon had scored earlier in the game, would he have done it? Maybe he would have.
All right, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber Hoss Developments. Okay, let's roll the music, Zuby, and get to Brownie points. Let's hear what Rob Brown thought of the world today, who impressed him, and who he wants to give out some brownie points to, courtesy Hamel's Premium Jerky. If you're craving bold flavor and unbeatable quality with prime Alberta beef and made and sold right here in Canada, look no further. The month of March, you can buy 2 pounds of jerky for $70 and get a free bonus quarter-pound mystery flavor pack. And as always, free shipping Alberta-wide. AlbertaJerky.com is the website. Use Got Your Back as a code, and that'll get you an additional 10% off. Brownie, who are we giving points to tonight?
Well, let's start with 97. I'm going to give it to the Oilers in general and their set plays. They have a number of set plays off of face-off in the offensive zone. They've got a couple set plays off of defensive zone face-offs too. But tonight we saw at the end of the first period, one of their set plays, as Strud talked earlier, off his set breakout. It was the perfect time to play it. McDavid's coming back. He meets eyes with Ekholm. They know what's going on. Bouchard goes to center. And literally that game ended tonight on that play. So wonderful play by the Edmonton Oilers on a set play. I got three brownie points to R&H. The Oilers have needed more from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for a while. And his game is now trending in the right direction. This is back-to-back three-point nights. Ever since they put R&H at center, he has played better. He's got his line mates, Colton and Arvidsson, playing better. This is a good sign for the Edmonton Oilers. 21.5 brownie points to the Viking, Mattias Ekholm. You want to know what he means to this team? He misses 6 games, comes back, looks healthy, plays like himself. In a game where they don't need him, he still plays 21.5 minutes, has a goal to assist, 3 points plus 3. That's how big an impact Mattias Ekholm is for the Edmonton Oilers. I've got one big brownie point to the Oilers defensive play that has won 3 straight. In each of those games, they've limited the opponent to 1 goal against. The Oilers scored 7 tonight, and that's fantastic. But the fact they've given up only 1 goal against in 3 straight games, that's how they're going to win in the playoffs. So good on them. And the last one, 6 brownie points to the Canadian NHL hockey team. At this moment, right now, there are 6 Canadian teams in playoff position, and the 7th team, the Calgary Flames, are just outside the position by 2 points with a couple games in hand. It is a very good time to be a Canadian hockey fan. All your teams are either in the playoffs or pushing for a playoff spot. And those tonight are my brownie points.
Oh boy, that's going to be some first round if there's 5 or 6 Canadian teams in them, boys. And it makes the networks kind of scratch their heads because, that's when you get that many Canadian teams in, like trying to figure out who to prioritize and how it's going to look. But I love it when there's heavy Canadian content in the playoffs, Struddy. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. And it doesn't look like we'd have any matchups, at least as far as I can tell, in the first round of Canadian teams with Toronto.
Well, you would have, Winnipeg, Vancouver. Winnipeg will play a Canadian team, possibly.
Okay, there you go.
Right, could be Vancouver or Calgary. Yeah, in that wild card spot if they, because they'll win. Yeah, so we could see that one potentially. All right, that was Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Good stuff, Brownie. Appreciate it, buddy. We are going to rock another pod on Thursday night after a big game against the Winnipeg Jets. What do you think, Brownie? Are the Oilers ready to take on a Winnipeg team and get on the right side of it? Is their game coming far enough?
I think it has. They put together 3 good games in a row. They've had 3 fantastic goaltending nights in a row. Their star player Connor has been as good as he's been all season long. They're getting depth scoring. And the best part is they're getting an angry Winnipeg team who got bumped tonight in Vancouver. There's certain games you look forward to, guys. The Winnipeg Jets, the Edmonton Oilers, both teams getting ready for the playoffs. And you got to remember, the last time these 2 teams played here in Edmonton, the Jets absolutely thumped the Oilers. That will be on the back of the Oilers' minds going into this game.
All right. Look forward to chatting after that one, Brownie. Thanks, pal.
Sounds good, guys.
All right. That is a great Rob Brown checking in for Brownie Points tonight. Okay, Struds, let's get to an active night on the scoreboard. So let's get to our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. Full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish.
Well, some huge games tonight. Massive ones for the playoffs. The Flames go to New York and they win 2-1. 35 shots by the Flames gets it done, and they win 2-1. So it's pick up 2 big points. The Canadians snapped the Senators' 6-game winning streak in a pretty fun game there, 6-3. So that's important one for the Habs. As Brownie mentioned, the Canucks win as well, so they keep pace with the Flames. 6-2, they beat the Jets. And then finally, the Capitals win 4-1 over the Wings, but no goals from the Grade 8. Ovi doesn't get a goal, so he just has to wait a little bit longer to break the record.
All right, that's our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. When we come back, we got our core Blue Liners segment, Take a Lap. We'll check in on the NHL general manager meetings that happened today. And then ask us anything. So Zuby is keeping an eye on the stream. Send us your questions for Struds and I, and we'll chime in with some of those towards the end of the show. Before we go to a quick break here, though, I want to remind you about an event going on this weekend you might be interested in. Check out the Alberta Spirits and Cocktail Festival next weekend at the Edmonton Event Center. It's a can't-miss event. They got over 40 local and Canadian distillers, a flair bartending shows that you can check out as well, live music, after party, and a lot more. You can go to abspiritsfest.ca. That's the website, abspiritsfest.ca, if that is your jam. Okay, quick break. Lots of content remaining here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
All right, let's get going with our Core Blue Liners segment, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, they've got your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, creating, managing tailored health and safety programs that meet all legislation and core requirements. www.hsecor.com is the website. Check them out. All right, Struds, we're going to go with a Utah D-man tonight.
Yeah, Sean Dursey. He's a mobile D, gets around well. He's got a really good shot. Today he was very active trying to shoot. And I guess unfortunately for him, he only hit the net once on all his tries, and it did go in the net for him. But he's a smaller size D who moves the puck pretty well. Heady, makes plays. But there's a play today that I want to focus on, and I've thought about this for him for a while. He's not a very big guy. He's going back for the puck with Podkolzin, and the two of them bump shoulders, and Podkolzin just like very sternly hits him, and he just plows straight into the wall, and you could see he was kind of shaken up a little bit on the play. And he's a good D-man, but he's not big enough, in my opinion, to be a guy you can really build around. Now, he's signed for 4 years here on this team, and he does move the puck well, but that size does limit, I believe, what he can do when you kind of get into the heavier parts of the year. And we saw it right there with that play at Paul Colton. But all that being said, came back from shoulder injury, he can put up points at a decent clip, and he does everything power play and penalty kill.
Yeah, that was a dangerous play, hey? Like, that one could have ended worse than it actually did. The trajectory they were going in at, it was kind of had a head first feel to it that ended up
but not dirty.
Turning out not as bad.
I don't think it was dirty though. I don't think it was. Both players were engaging in this hit. Like, so just so if people didn't see it, two players are going shoulder to shoulder, and Paul Colson was just bigger and stronger, just hits him and kind of catches them, and he goes straight into the board, just plows straight into the boards. And you know, he sat there for a minute and got back up. But listen, that D-core has improved a ton when you think back to where they were last year. You know, even Kesselring looks really good. They got Jersey Marino.
I thought he looked really good tonight. I thought Kesselring had some good moments, and like, boy, he gets around well. Hey,
he's a player. That one stings.
Yeah.
If you're an Oilers fan, Sergachev, I thought like they gave up 7 goals. So I don't want to put them on a pedestal, but think about where they were last year and how bad that D-core was last year. So big improvement. But Jersey, I think he was going to be there for a number of years. He's only 25. He's still just a young guy, even though he's on his second, I guess, kind of third team if you count the move from Arizona.
All right, that's our Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. NHL general manager meetings going on down in the States. The insiders were all there rocking and rolling today, Dregs. Hopefully we'll have time to join you tomorrow on Struddy's World Struds, and we'll remind everybody that's set to roll tomorrow at 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, live on YouTube, live on X as well. So that show ready to rock and roll again tomorrow. We should have Dregs. But let's dig into a little bit of what's going on down there and what's going on around the league in our Take a Lap segment. That's presented by Acon. Look, if you need work, Acon has got stuff for you. If you're a skilled tradesperson or a construction professional, fire your resume at them. They're taking them. So the email address is trades@acon.com. They're one of Canada's original industrial contractors, building some of the largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada. Great company. Fire a resume at them. If you're looking for work right now, now is the time to jump on that. Struds, where do we want to start?
Well, we'll start those managers meetings, and all the big insiders from TSN are down there. So this is a collection of their thoughts. Chris Johnson, Pierre LeBrun, Dregs, and Gino. And they talked about the idea of cut-resistant fabric for clothing that players are going to wear. And this is, to me, is a no-brainer. And I think it was Chris Johnson who mentioned this could be as early as next year. I cannot see how they don't have this already. I have my boys wear it for upper bodies. I won't do it on their legs yet, but they do on their upper bodies, and their neck guards are sewn into this as well. So I think that makes a ton of sense. And that's the second piece, is that Tom Fitzgerald of the Devils, their GM, is really is pushing the idea of having neck guards for all players, and he's actually going to try to push it through for his team there in New Jersey to have everyone wear them. So, you know, I get it. They might grandfather it in, just like visors and helmets and all that we've gone through. But I have a statement to make on neck guards. I see a lot of kids have neck guards, and what they do is they tape them really small, tape them really tight, so it just looks like a string of pearls around their neck, and that's not going to stop anything. Mm-hmm. I believe what you need, if you're going to have one, make the kids wear it right? Don't have tape around it. To me, it's stupid. And I think the refs should look at it, say, that equipment's not functioning right, you have to take it off. It's like if I have a visor or a cage, and I just cut the bottom half off because I don't want to look at the bottom. It's the same thing. You're altering what the job of that product's supposed to do. So refs, if you see someone with tape around, just tell them you can't wear that. I'd take the tape off and make them wear it properly. It does nothing. But I think that it should be, all neck guards should be attached to their equipment, right? To their undergarments, underwear, whatever you want to call it, that is also cut resistant. I think that is what the league should do. And I think every league should do that from the NHL down.
Are you good with them grandfathering it in, Struds, or do you think that if the game feels this needs to happen, this is different than, getting a puck in the cheek, where a visor might have saved your orbital bone. This is different than, you think about other things that they've been willing to grandfather in and kind of say to guys like, I mean, they're doing this for a pretty significant reason, right? Because it's a worst nightmare scenario out there, and everybody knows what they're trying to guard against. So why grandfather it in if they feel that safety issue is there?
I think a ton of players would go for it voluntarily. I really do. I think that they would do it. And then we're talking about, a small fraction of players. And so the odds of something bad happen to a very small fraction of players, I think, is quite low. So yes, it's not a fight that the league's willing to, I don't think they're willing to go to the very end with. I just can't see it. So you say, okay, if you have X number of years, you can choose not to wear it, and then everyone else has to wear it. And I don't know. Just choose to wear it. If I was in there now, I throw it on. It really doesn't bother me. No, I didn't wear a visor, and I'd probably choose still not to wear a visor, but I'd probably throw this on before a visor.
Yeah. Anything else out of there you want to get to? No, not really thinking about expanding the overtime. That was one of the other things that came out of there. We saw it at the Four Nations, but it doesn't sound like there's an appetite there to adjust it.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I don't know. I think it's just at some point you got to end the games. The one thing I thought was interesting and I didn't know this, on June 15th, every country will be able to name 6 of their players for the Olympics of their roster. And then their full roster has to be in, I think it's, December something. Is it December 4th or 31st? I can't remember. Which one?
Yeah. Did they say late December? I thought it was late December. I don't know.
I think it's the 31st. So 6 players. Listen, you know what it is? We're building up hype. That's what they're doing. I get it. And that's, it's pretty cool. It's right around the Stanley Cup. So yeah, go for it. But I could probably pick all 6 players right now. I don't think it's very hard for each team. Like, I don't think it's going to be any surprises. Do you?
No, I don't see that. I mean, I hope that they learn from some of the errors they made at the Four Nations, though, right? And I'm not sure what the plan is for potential replacements. I think the rosters will be a little bigger, so you have, maybe an opportunity to have a little bit more of a buffer there than they had at this Four Nations. But I don't know. It's still what, a month out of the games actually being played.
Yeah,
I mean, it's February, right? The Olympics, so it's still a ways out.
Yeah, and I do think, and it's further. So I think that I do understand this idea of having that further out. I think you also, but you say, okay, this is our team. But you say, hey, Strudwick, Rishaug, and Brown, keep, just be ready. If something happens, you're the next 3 up. And I think you just be honest. These are our alternates, right? Just call it out so that people know and they can be prepared for it. Because if I'm that extra alternate or a alternate, I still make my plans, but I kind of say, hey, this could happen. When I see someone go down, I could get the call.
Yeah. All right. Is that it, buddy?
That's a wrap on the lap.
That's a wrap on Take a Lap, brought to you by our friends over at Acon. Zuby, why don't you hop in here, my friend, and wrap up our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. I don't even know what you did tonight. I was on my way into the house. Oh, buddy, what do we got going on there? What? Oh, and you're muted. And you're muted.
Oh, muted himself.
I got
he
back
muted
a day
himself for the punchline.
I got back a day late from my trip, so I didn't get to wear my St. Patty's Day hat that I just found. It's been in hiding somewhere for many moons, so I wanted to bring it out for the pod tonight.
Wow.
I'm glad we didn't end on too serious of a note from taking a lap. That those items weren't reversed, or I might have felt
that
like
would have been awkward,
like a jackass. More of a jackass.
Yeah, that would have been awkward. Is Sabunia Irish?
It's Sabunia, but no, it's actually my mom's side of the family is Irish. It's Polish Irish, the classic Polish Irish.
The classic mix.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, wrap up the poll.
All right, here's what the poll said. The poll tonight was sort of part 2 of the last poll. It was who needed this one the most, and the options were Nuge again. Winning big this time, 50% of the vote. Decisive win for Nuge again, needing this game tonight. Pod Colson came in second with 22%. Zach Hyman, 17%, and only 9% for Matthias Ekholm. Over 400 votes on the poll, and a stream still going strong. We've been up over 600 most of the night here. So thanks to everyone.
Amazing.
Awesome.
For being here. And I have to say, I had an update from some of the Twitch folks. There were 4 viewers on Twitch tonight.
Oh.
And 3 of them. Sorry?
We're growing.
Yeah. And 3 of them were in the chat. I have a chat here that the YouTube folks can't see that blend. I get all the different ones come in together. And at one point in time, those 3 of the 4 people on Twitch who were chatting were like dominating my screen here. So good for them. Thanks to everybody on Twitch who might still be with us. Yeah, good stuff.
Somebody made a funny comment earlier. I can't remember who it was, when Brownie was talking about how he has no idea technology-wise. He doesn't have any of these things. He doesn't have Twitter. He doesn't have anything. Someone made the comment that he was accidentally the lone person on Twitch that we had when we had the one person on Twitch for like the first 3 months of the season.
Brownie.
So. Brownie. Okay, let's get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Is your mortgage renewal date just around the corner or coming up? Don't sign early and just take the bank's offer. Explore your options, and timing your renewal with potential rate drops could save you thousands and put more money back in your pocket. Don't pay more in interest to the banks than you absolutely have to. Maria Gallus can help you with that. Mortgagesbymaria.ca for expert guidance and better mortgage solutions. Okay, Zuby, let's rapid fire a bunch of questions in.
Okay, let's. This is an interesting one, I thought, from CK Pon. He says, are we going to see the goalies alternating games now instead of the usual 3 for Skinner, 1 for Pickard? Because we are on a roll and got a flow now. Struddy, is that going to continue, do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think it'll be Skinner next game for sure. And then, see how it goes. There must be a discussion about how they want to do it and how they want to organize. But obviously, Skinner's going to be their guy heading to playoffs. So what does he need to kind of get himself ready? But I do believe, and I've said this before, I think that also includes practice time, guys. I really feel strongly about that, to fine-tune those little elements of his game.
Yeah, well, after the game on the weekend, they've got 3 days basically off before their next game. I imagine one will be like a team-mandated day off, but they could have a couple of solid practices there as well. So I'll be interested to see if Skinner goes back-to-back before that break. Winnipeg, Seattle, then the break. Then he comes back and gets the Dallas game, which would be 3 in a row with a break in between. And if Pickard's next start isn't the second game against the Kraken, in the back-to-back. So they've got an opportunity to run him here, Struds, if they want to, which they had just tried to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a goalie coach question, honestly. Hey, can you use the time to work with him? Because if he only plays Thursday, doesn't play Saturday, that's a massive amount of practice time for him to fine-tune. And that might be more valuable than him playing Saturday night.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see if Dustin Schwartz will come on and take questions from people. I'm sure he'd love to do that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Our number, if word got out, we'd set a new record on the live stream, I'm sure.
I would not do that to him. Nor would he.
Okay, Maple Syrup Skidmark says, positive take time. Oilers had their suck month in February. Instead of December, now they'll go on a tear and dominate in the playoffs. Do you think there's a chance we look back at this and just say that was their down month, and everybody has one throughout the season, and it was better to have it in February than in March or later? Schauger?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're going to go on a LA Kings style romp from whatever year that was when they just blasted their way through the playoffs and it wasn't. I mean, I don't necessarily foresee that. I could see the Oilers finishing strong. I think that Struds, they were crappy for long enough that I think they know they need to get their game in order. So I could see them going pedal to the metal here right up until that final road trip, just to kind of dial it in for themselves.
Yeah, they want to get their game organized. They want to feel good about their game heading to the playoffs. They know what that feels and looks like. And what they were gone through recently, that wasn't it. So now, you start looking at some of the last few games here. And there's been a couple before that. Like even the last 2 weeks, there's been signs of life. There was some times where there was no signs of life. So there's better things ahead, I believe, for this team. But they know what it looks and feels like as individuals and as a group. And their coach and I think the leaders will make sure that they're ready. So if they win all the rest of their games, great. If they win 80, 70, 60%, I really don't care. As long as I see them trending in the way that I know when they hit game one, the playoffs, they're dialed in and they're going.
It would be nice. It would be nice if they had a bit of an idea what their top 6 looked like. If it was like, yep, these are the top 2 lines and they didn't hit the playoffs, kind of like, oh, Wow, I haven't seen that look in a while. Who's playing with Dry? You know what I mean?
Well, it's 3.
If the
Right now
last
you know
chunk
3.
of the season, if it's dialed in. Sorry?
You know 3. You know 3 of them right now. That's it. The 2 centers and the right winger on the top line. Other than that, I'm not sure what they are or who it is.
Yeah.
A couple of interesting takes here. I'll get you guys to give your thoughts on from some of our international regulars. Hank 809 in Tokyo says, giving Ekholm a 6-game rest recreated the trade deadline boost when he first came in by trade. Anything to that, Struddy?
Yeah, I just, sometimes you just, and I've been through it before where you're maybe sick, we're sick, and then there's a lot of travel. You throw in that Four Nations Cup or face off, and then you have maybe an injury. Like, you can never get untired. You're just constantly dragging. And then the injury, maybe occurs because of it, or it's a byproduct of whatever. So to give him that space off, and you come back completely refreshed, you feel healthier than he did, before it. I think it was a really wise move by this group, because there was some talk for him to come back Thursday, which would have been just as fine as well. But tonight, obviously, they knew that he was ready, and he knows his body as well.
I think Mattias Ekholm, can play through an injury. I think he can play through an illness. I think Mattias Ekholm had both. And I think he had both for a little while there. So I think it's really good that they were able to give him the time that he needed to heal the injury, to get himself healthy, and now to finish the season strong. Nobody needed the Four Nations break more than Mattias Ekholm, and he didn't get it.
Yeah. Okay, here's another interesting thought from our friend in Florida, resident Panther fan Joe Dokes. He says, wondering if some of these wingers stepping up their game, knowing that Trent Frederick wants to come in and steal ice time from them. Anything there on that, Shogger?
Yeah, I mean, Struds, these guys get it. I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing a little jump in their step. There are only so many spots, and Frederick is going to get one of them when he's ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I think we can't dismiss too the dog days. Like, the whole team was in just the dog days of, or except Leon was not, but they were not firing all cylinders. And sometimes as a accessory type winger, it's maybe hard to kind of get it going, especially when the puck's on the offensive zone. I mean, I guess you can be more physical, but it's not always easy, I think, especially if your centers aren't maybe going 100%.
I don't know. I don't know, Struts. Are you allowed to have the dog days excuse when you haven't done anything all year? You know what I mean? Like, if you have not been good enough from day one of the regular season, are you allowed to be like, we're in the grind now, so you know what happens in the grind, game falls off a bit. No. When you haven't been good enough all year, I don't think you get that. I think you need to be trying to find it even through those dog days.
But yeah, it's not that you just say I'm in the dog days and I stop trying. The reason you're in the dog days is because that's where it is. That's where your energy's at. That's where kind of your juice to go and play the game is at. You may be tired. Maybe you've been away. Like, what was it? Arvidsson had said he was gone before the Four Nations, gone for the Four Nations, home for the Four Nations, or back on the road after the Four Nations. He said, I was gone for like 4 or 5. I only had 4 or 5 days or something over 4 or 5 weeks at home. So I think
I don't want to not be sympathetic, but did he not also miss like 12 games earlier in the year where he wasn't on the road at all with the team, and he wasn't? I know, but I'm saying, I don't know. I'm not trying to argue your greater point about it for certain players, but if we're talking Arvidsson here, I'm not buying any dog day stuff with Arvidsson. Like, he hasn't been good enough this year. He missed games before. Like,
I'll challenge you on that. I completely disagree. You can't. These are humans. They're not robots. So if you are not really, the dog days are hard, and I'm not saying it's it goes through everybody eventually. Everyone has it, and you can have off days. I'm sure there are people listening who've had off stretches of weeks of bad performance at work, right? And it's not just him. So let's not zero in on him, and then when the centers aren't bringing energy and maybe things aren't going well and your team game feels down, it's hard for one individual person to really rise up above it. And the guy who did it is arguably one of the best players in the world. He did it. So asking a winger who maybe hasn't found his groove all year, it's not easy.
Yeah. I'll give you the last word. All right, Zuby, what's next?
Okay, things have really picked up over on Twitch. I had to jump back to the other side of the chat here, but we're up to 6 on Twitch, and they've really stuck with us. And the conversation over there is about who has the inside track to be the number 6 defenseman with what we think is everybody healthy and in tonight. It was Stetcher, but oh no, NA saying, I'm thinking Emberson is in the lead big time. No, Stetcher's too small and Klingberg too rusty. Even though we saw Stetcher in that group tonight, who do you think is the most likely guy in the number 6 spot when the playoffs start, Struddy?
Emberson. I think he's got a massive lead right now. I love Stetcher's game. I love the way he plays. Just physically, he's not big enough to do what is required for the type of game he wants to play. And then Klingberg, I mean, he's out now, he's in his dog days of his season, I guess, so I think it's hard for him to I think it's a challenge for him to get up and running in time. And I think he'll come in to have a different look at times, but I believe it'll be Ty Emerson.
Their first opportunity to see the entire blue line all together tonight. Right. Tonight, like Ekholm was back. This was the game, chance to see everybody, and they had Stetcher in there, which I kind of raised the eyebrow at a little bit. And I know that Emberson has been struggling. There's been some drop off there. Maybe they just feel like he needs a bit of a break, right? We got to remember he's a young developing defenseman. I just thought it was interesting that the first chance with everybody healthy and Stetcher was the one that got the look. Loved his energy tonight. He was all over it, all over the place. Chaotic, making some spinoramas and this and that. Love the energy that he brings, Struds. But I agree with you. At playoff time, it's a tough fit.
Yeah, and I should remember here, Ty Emerson has played 30 games in NHL before this year, right? So
yeah,
it's a long grind, man. It is a long grind.
Yeah.
And you're just going from city to city. You're playing, and I remember times waking up on the road and not because I was hungover. I didn't even know where we were at. What city were you in this morning, right? And you're like, oh, it's Columbus. Okay, this is where we're playing. You go down. So the first time through that, it does wear you down. And so I think a night off or two for him down the stretch, it makes a lot of sense.
Interesting. Your perspective here, like I really noticed a lull in your performance on this show, sort of January through like almost just before the trade deadline starts. And now I'm understanding this is just a prima donna mentality. Right, no, NHL guys just feel entitled to taking a month and a half off.
But that's the thing. I think you're missing. You're looking to place blame on a player when the reality is it's a marathon, and so you do get fatigue. You do get tired. Injuries catch up to you. Like it's not easy. Like the grind is very, very difficult, and especially when you're out in Edmonton. I mean, I remember when I came from New York to Edmonton, like I was sleeping on the plane all the time. I was so tired because you don't get the same rest you do in short trips like if you live in New York. The challenge like in Dallas, there's a lot of travel there. Vancouver's a lot of travel. It's a big difference.
Yeah. Hank 809 says, I feel like we're in the dog days of this episode. I agree.
That's fair.
Right. Let's land the plane, Struddy. Let's land the plane. Zuby, is that it? You got one more? How are you?
I got more, but I can wrap it up.
We gotta wrap it up.
A good point also coming from Jackie Daytona on Emberson saying, reminding us that he has taken the most hits in the league this year. So maybe something to them getting him some rest there.
Yeah,
okay, where am I going to go to finish this one up? Okay, I want to get to a couple of comments that I'll just roll out after this. But the last question, let's say Aaron St. Pierre pointing out that as good as the Jets' third line has been, Appleton -3, Nino -3, Lowry -1 tonight against the Canucks. Maybe took the Canucks lightly, but what do you think that's going to mean coming in to face the Oilers on Thursday? Is there something they can draw from that and maybe watch some tape, or are the Jets just going to be righteously pissed off coming in here Thursday, Struddy?
Yeah, I mean they're a team that they've been bouncing back. Like this is a veteran team who's played well all year, so I think they're going to bounce back, and they're going to come in a bit pissed off. And I like that because then the Oilers know like this is going to be a hard game, and we've got to be ready to go right from the get-go. So I like the excitement building up for this game, even though there's probably a pretty low chance that they both make it through to the Western Conference Final. But it'd be great if they did.
Yeah, I concur with that.
Okay, couple quick comments to wrap it up. The Juice saying, referring to Leon, he thought it was polite of Leon to save his 50th goal for the Juice's 40th birthday on Thursday, where he said he'll be in attendance.
Birthday, Juice, man.
So happy birthday, Juice.
Juicy.
Noel Rinsky wondering if we can institute a Holloway timeout rule, and I think we'll talk about this maybe, but first person to mention Holloway or Broberg on the chat gets a 15-minute timeout. So we'll think about that in the near future. Okay. It's like comes in before the show even starts. Don't look now, but Holloway got 3 points tonight. Oh, okay. And then a couple of funny comments relating to the clip we showed of the very first episode at the start of the show. CK Pond said, first episode, they're dating. So nice. Now, 3 years later, married and insulting each other. And Leaky 37 similar. Those were early honeymoon times. You guys are like a married couple now. It is much like a marriage, isn't it?
Yes, we are. Well, I don't know. It's there's 3 of us, so I don't know what that's called.
It's a throuple.
None of the side benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Brownie just swings in every now and then. Brownie swings in.
Drop
swings out. All right. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Maria Gallus, your friendly neighborhood mortgage broker. Let's get to our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com.
When a head coach goes out of his way to talk to a reporter and suggest to him the stats of what the hits are like, he has earned himself front of the line status for play of the day. He absolutely killed it. I'm guessing the next thing he'll do is he'll hand you stats about Jeff Skinner to explain to Strudwick why he hasn't been on the first line all year, or top 6 forward. So well done by Chris Knobloch. Thank you for that, for putting our co-worker in his place.
Love it. Not going to say a word about it. A couple years ago, Struddy, Todd McClellan dragged me into his office to show me something on the power play. I've been chewing into the power play a little bit. And anytime you're sitting there in a coach's office and he's explaining, see how other teams do this too, you know you've kind of, I don't mean to get under people's skin. Sometimes it just happens.
Right. No, fair point.
Love the retro tunes on the way out here, Zuby. Nice job, buddy.
Bring it back. We don't use it very often. Still on the soundboard, so. This is the best part. The synth.
Yeah. The crescendo, they call that, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. That brings back some memories of early mornings when we used to do these things early in the morning. Okay, you guys will be back tomorrow, 12 o'clock, Struddy's World. I think we're on episode 5 or 6. You guys are doing a great job of that and having an absolute blast, so looking forward to that. Tomorrow, 12 to 1 o'clock. I may or may not check in. Oilers have adjusted their practice time, so we'll figure that out, boys. But we've got dregs from the Board of Governors. Anything else you guys want to preview on that show tomorrow? Tease? And I saw some text flying back and forth today.
Yeah, get off your fence. We're gonna talk about an annoying human who is trying to figure out where he's going to play football, and I don't know why anyone is waiting for that. We're gonna debate it. We have a different perspective here, Zub, and we're gonna talk about why perhaps Aaron Rodgers should or shouldn't be signed by an NFL team.
I won't be on the fence.
Yeah, you will be on the fence. Dave Stakane says Rishaug should have responded with stats or numbers. Numbers are for nerds, and nerds are losers. I was not going to respond with that. Dave Stakane. All right, let's wrap it up. We're way over deadline tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Talk to you soon.
Good night.
Who picked that music?